Hey guys, it's Gail with Everything Nash here with Ann Wilson. So good to see you.
You too.
We have lots of things to talk about. I haven't talked to you in a while, so I woke up today and I was so excited. I was like, it's Ann Wilson Day.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Let's talk about God's story. What a fun song. Give me the story behind it.
Yeah, I wrote it a few months ago. I was on a tour called Winter Jam and had been on that tour for a while and was really reflecting on the last like 8 years of my life as a whole. The last four being in music and then back to when my brother passed 8 years ago and really just reflecting on like the story that God has written in my life. I think that there's something really special about getting on the other side of pain and being able to look back and see like God used it for my good and for the greater good of the kingdom. And so, yeah, this song came about, and then it felt like an invitation almost to people listening of like kind of letting everyone have this moment to look at their own life and to see how God is working in their life and in the story that He's writing in their life. So so excited about it, and I think it's already been connecting with people, and people have been sending me their God stories and sharing how God has been moving in their life. So I'm excited.
And this is from an upcoming album. Do
Yes.
tell.
Yes, I'm so excited. I can't share much yet, but we have a new album coming out and just a lot of exciting stuff. I've been working the last year writing these songs and I'm so passionate about them, so excited about them, and it just feels like we're really ready for this new chapter of music.
Okay, so I feel like Rebel was so incredibly well received. Can we just like talk about that chapter for a minute? Because it didn't launch you, but it definitely propelled you in a place that you hadn't been in your career before.
Yeah, definitely. It was my first country album titled, Country. Um And it was a really fun album for me. It was 16 songs and I got to really dive in and like express who I am creatively. And that was a lot more country than the last album, My Jesus. But it gave me some incredible opportunities and really was the first introduction for me on the country side of things. So I got to play a lot of country festivals and open for some country artists. And it was really cool to have that experience and just to get to reach people outside of the Christian music industry and to reach people on another genre. So it was really special. And I think it really changed kind of things for me. So now this new album that we're putting out has kind of continued on in that same path of authentically, having my faith at the core of what I do, but also the sound of country.
And you also got to sing with Jelly Roll last year.
Yes, I know. I was so excited. It was like the craziest day.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. What I love about you, I listened to Rebel multiple times. Um, I know that you were going to be under the microscope because you're a Christian artist doing country album, but you didn't water it down at all, my friend. Like you were hardcore. This is still what I believe. Can you talk about that decision?
Yeah, I think for me it was really realizing like this is my chance to be bold in my faith like I never have been before. And so when I was writing these songs, it was just like, I'm not going to back down to please people on the countryside. Like, I'm not going to sacrifice my faith to fit in. And then I'm not going to sacrifice the sound of country to fit in on Christian radio. A lot of the times, Christian radio gives pushback for country sounding music, which is crazy. And so I was like, kind of wrestling with that. And I came to realize like, I have to be authentically who I am. I can't water down my faith and I can't water down my love for country. And so it was an interesting season. It also came out like right before the kind of whole political stuff last year and it was very interesting kind of I think for our country like a time where a lot of people were standing for what they believed in. No matter which side they were on, they were choosing to stand for the things that meant a lot to them. And for me that was rebel. It was like I am a proud believer of Jesus. I'm a proud supporter of the gospel. I want to share it with people. And it really became like my whole thing was all about Jesus and spreading the gospel. And it was really cool to see how God ended up using that.
Spreading the gospel. You are heading out on tour. I might have shrieked a little bit with Morgan Wallen.
I know.
How are
Yeah.
we feeling about this?
Oh Lord, I don't even know. I'm gonna probably have a full-blown freak out attack the day I get there. But I'm very grateful and it's something that I never even thought was possible. I'm literally like obsessed with his music. Anyone in my life that knows me knows that he's all I listen to. I literally mean all I listen to, like all the time. And so when I found out that I was getting to go on tour with him, I was just blown away. And he's actually been a sweet supporter of mine and what I do. We're very different artists. We have very different musical like platforms and the kind of things we write about. But he's been really encouraging and supportive. So I can't wait. I'm just praying that I get have the strength to not pass out on stage. But I'm really excited and it's going to be a great time. So.
How do you approach a Morgan Wallen concert as a Christian artist who is releasing a positive country album?
Honestly, I just am gonna go be myself because that's all I can be. And for me, it looks like the same exact set I would play at a Christian festival. I'm just gonna play my music, and share the gospel and be me. And I think it's interesting because, like, on one of the nights it's me, Miranda, and Morgan, and the other night it's me, Brooks, and Dunn, and Morgan. And both
No
Miranda
big
and
deal.
Brooks and Dunn have had those songs that are faith-based. So I think it's like God is in country music, so I don't think it's going to be anything that's out of the ordinary for these people at the concert, but it will be like a full gospel presentation. Which I'm just so excited to get that opportunity because even if one person in the crowd comes to know Christ that day, that's worth all of it for me.
And people can say what they want about Wallen's lifestyle, but he is a professing Christian.
Yes, he
So
is. Yeah.
take it
He
what you
is,
want.
and he is such like just he's a talent, that we will talk about for
Yeah,
many, many, many years to come. So
right. And I also think that Brandon Lake and Jelly Roll have done a lot to perpetuate Christian music in the country genre also
yeah.
with Hard Fought Hallelujah, which is so great. Okay, I want to read something to you that was in your press release. Over the last couple of years, God has done some incredible healing work. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. I think a lot of what I talk about with my brother is over the last couple of years, I feel like he's gotten me over this kind of like, I guess, hump of like the grief. Like I feel like I'm on the other side of it now of healing. Where I feel like I've fully been able to, I now can look back on my brother and not feel so much heartache and devastation, but rather joy when I think about him. I think about him every day, and obviously there's days I wake up still sad and heartbroken. I always will be, but I really feel like God has healed me into a place of joy.
I love that. Okay, I know you can't tell me a lot, but what can we say about the next album? Can we talk about when it might come out? How many songs might be on it?
Songs, don't know yet. We're still kind of picking. We're in the selection like part of the album process, like picking the next songs. We have the majority of them picked out, but maybe a couple are still going to be added. It won't be as many songs as Rebel, I can say that. It was kind of one of those albums that we were like, we want to get this out soon. So it's a few less songs than 16. And this album is I think it's an interesting kind of coming of age record. Very different than anything I've done before. A lot of the songs are really kind of reflecting on this year. So I turned 23 in February and I turned the age that my brother was when he passed away. And it was a very weird like milestone in the grief journey of like being, I guess, coming to this realization I was going to live longer than my brother got to. It was a very weird part of my grief. And so this whole like last 6 months has been writing kind of about that. And so there's a lot of songs that talk about some of those deep moments of heartbreak and pain of that. And then there's also songs that have a lot of joy and kind of this grown up sense of this is the 23-year-old Anne now. So it has a lot of that coming of age, I think is the way I describe it, of like this kind of new me, always the same like core parts of me, but a little bit of a different sound as well to some of the production. So,
Okay, well, we'll have to talk when you can finally talk about it.
yep, absolutely.
Good to see you, my friend. Thank you, Anne.
Yes, absolutely. So